So let's talk about the migrant crisis. So while y'all get signed up for the Patreon and people take advantage of this opportunity, that's not going to happen at least for another year and a half. Migrants, a lot of migrants are rushing the border. They are rushing the border in anticipation of what's happening here in this election. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock. You know, I've seen different caravans of over 100,000 people. Some put the estimates of over a quarter million people that are running to get inside of the United States of America prior to this election.
¡Viva Honduras! ¡Viva Cuba! ¡Viva Nicaragua! ¡Viva Venezuela! ¡Viva la América Latina libre!
Completamente. La estrategia tanto de republicanos como demócratas
It is completely the strategy of both the Republican and the Democrats
es
to
alargar
extend the immigration border towards this southern border of Mexico.
su frontera hacia esta frontera sur. Porque queremos decirle
Because we want to say to
a
the
los
United
Estados Unidos
States
que mujeres y niños
that
migrantes
migrant women and
no
children
somos moneda de
are
cambio
not bargaining chips for your political differences. You hear these ungrateful mother effers?
de sus diferencias políticas. Las elecciones en Estados Unidos,
The elections in the United States,
los migrantes
the migrants
creen ser
believe they are
favorecidos o
favored or
perjudicados
harmed,
según el candidato ganador.
depending on the winning candidate.
¡Cristo Rey!
This is what happens when you let things, and again, the $9 tier is open to anybody that want to tap into the Patreon. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the people that's actually taking advantage of this. This is unfortunate because when you let people, when you let the insane people run the asylum for long enough, they start feeling as though they have agency over you. They're sitting here telling us that they are not bargaining chips while walking to the border. They're not even over here yet. They're walking to the border to get over here in the United States of America. And they're sitting here saying that our fate shouldn't be determined over who's in the election. I agree with them. You shouldn't be over here in the first place if you can't take advantage of and do what you're supposed to do. If you can't go in legally, Jesus Christ. Y'all might have to refresh. You might have to refresh. It's not sold out. I made it unlimited, but I'm about to close it in a minute. You might have to refresh. These people are sitting here saying and acting like we owe them to be able to walk over here illegally into this border. We owe them to be able to walk over here illegally across the border. How insane is that? And what makes them think that they should have any say so of what happens in this election in the first place? Which makes me think that them letting all of those immigrants over here over the last 3.5 years is basically endearing them to the political party of the Democrats. They basically created an entirely new voter bloc to maintain power inside of the United States of America because they gonna always, as far as their lifetimes, they gonna be passing over into their children the same way that the black community passed over into their children. Hey, we vote Democrat regardless of how it affects you because they gonna feel like they got some agency over what happens inside of the United States of America. This is purely disrespectful. That's crazy.
Pues mi destino sería Estados Unidos, si mi Dios me lo permite.
Straight from Venezuela. My destination is the United States of America.
Me gusta ese nombre, me gusta Denver.
And he named himself Denver. Oh my God, this is so insane.
Entonces me gustaría conocer la ciudad. Nueva York sería bonito también, pero
New
me gusta
York.
Denver. Me gustaría llegar antes de que las elecciones. Pues si llega a ganar Donald Trump, él tampoco puede decir que no van a entrar los inmigrantes porque
Did you hear what he just said? Listen to what they're saying. I would like
me
to
gustaría llegar
arrive
antes de que
before the elections.
las elecciones. Pues si llega a ganar Donald
If Donald Trump wins,
Trump, él tampoco,
or if he doesn't,
él tampoco puede decir que no van a entrar
he also cannot say that immigrants cannot enter because
los inmigrantes porque inmigrantes
immigration is a global issue. Man, I'm telling you, bro, this is crazy. Shout out to Brandy Slayer, says she joined and paid for the year. Shout out to you, smart woman. This is crazy. They sitting here telling us what we can and can't do inside of our own country because they should be able to do what they want to do and walk right in our country. Shh. I'm telling you, in a minute, they're gonna be busting down your chick. In a minute, they're gonna be busting down your chick. Shout out to all of the new bag chasers. I'm about to close it in about 7 minutes. In a minute, they're gonna be busting down your chick.
es una cosa mundial.
Y'all want that in y'all city? Look at what you see right here. Do you want that in your city? Because we incentivizing them to come here. We giving them free hotels. Chicago, hey, Chicago, y'all go to Chicago. This is crazy.
Indudablemente, como sabemos, pues un presidente que ya tuvo su mandato y sus leyes fueron contra la migración o antimigración. Entonces, no es nada nuevo que una vez que él pueda llegar y que Dios permita que no se dé, pues nos vaya a afectar en el tema migratorio.
They watching our elections, y'all. They watching our elections, y'all. They telling us that we can't have another Trump presidency because it's going to affect their ability to get over here and take the resources from taxpayers and the American people, and they feel entitled to it. They friends hit them up on WhatsApp and say, "Hey man, I'm over here in Chicago. What's taking you so long?" His homegirl hit him up and said, "Hey man, I'm over here in New York. Hey, we in Denver. We got free housing, we got hotels, we got food stamps. They paying us to be here, and they teaching us English in their schools, and I can sit right next to their children, and they gonna teach us, and they gonna get English translators in here to make sure that we can get comfortable and we can find the jobs that then kick them out and take their own jobs." Shout out to Jamila, the bag chasers. Shout out to the new chasers. Shout out to Fly Girl Candy. I love it. This is the life that y'all basically allowing for them. They gonna come in and kick your butt in your own city. They are getting over here before the election because they know what's gonna happen if Donald Trump wins. This is insane. This is crazy. Meanwhile, the Biden administration, right, is paroles 8,000 new migrants into the United States of America. Check it out.
Well, immigration is a top issue among voters, especially in border states like Texas. Recent changes in the Biden administration's policies have resulted in fewer illegal crossings. Yet critics argue that some of those changes could encourage more arrivals. Well, CBN's Tara Mergener reports from McAllen, Texas.
As the sun sets over the Rio Grande, the Texas-Mexico border appears peaceful. Once the major hotspot for illegal crossings, the situation has changed due to Texas spending billions toward aggressive border enforcement, from barbed wire and floating buoys to the National Guard.
I'm about to close the Patreon in roughly 3 minutes. So if you are not in and you have not gotten in, then that is up to you. You're going to have to get on the $15 tier like everybody else. But $9 is about to be closed. Shout out to my girl, Art Streets.
If you cross in Texas, you will be prosecuted.
While illegal immigration is down overall in Texas, the numbers show many migrants are rerouting to other states, often with smugglers, due to Governor Greg Abbott's enhanced border security.
Border officials say that means more crossings in neighboring states, like Arizona, New Mexico, and California.
Most of it is cartel. If you pay the cartel to get across, they're taking you up north because it's easier for them.
Biden administration executive orders aimed at streamlining asylum requests have also reduced the number of dangerous crossings and expedited deportations.
I'm announcing actions to bar migrants who cross our southern border unlawfully. Migrants will be restricted from receiving asylum at our southern border unless they seek it after entering through an established lawful process.
In August, 58,000 migrants entered the U.S., down from a record 250,000 in December.
I think that this administration has basically committed a crime. Shout out to Big Music Beats. I believe that this administration is committing heinous crimes against the United States of America and its citizens. When I read about and then I looked at the video of that 5-year-old woman, that 5-year-old girl that got raped by that illegal migrant over this past weekend, and they had to hunt him down and use resources and taxpayer dollars and all of these fugitive task force in order to find this guy and arrest him. And he was a part of a catch and release program. It angers me. It makes my blood boil. Shout out to the Pathfinder's Journey. It angers me and it makes my blood boil. If y'all are sitting here and okay with this administration and these people over these past four years, letting all of these illegal migrants into this country, and then y'all letting Mark Cuban up here justify it and say, oh, they was just trying to be nice and then it got out of hand, that's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. Look at this. Why? And that's according to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And that's what they could track.
That's a 68% drop compared to a year ago.
While the Biden administration touts a recent drop in illegal border crossings, critics argue they don't tell the whole story. They claim new legal pathways for migrants don't reduce overall migration, but instead encourage more arrivals and further complicate border security.
The traffic and people coming into the pipeline has not abated under the executive order. The Biden administration, for quite some time now, has been using the parole system to let people make an appointment on CBP One app and fly into the country, so effectively flying over the border.
The CBP One system helps process about 50,000 asylum seekers monthly, with more than 800,000 migrants paroled into the U.S. since its launch last year.
So when she jumps on these campaign trails and she jumps out at these rallies and she said, hey, listen, we stopped the flow of migrants into the country coming in here illegally. Well, that's because they've now developed a new app. They got them in the app store. Listen, you can download the CBP app and get your process in and be able to fly directly over to the United States of America and be placed maybe somewhere like Aurora or Springfield, or you might even be able to get to the major cities like New York and Chicago. You can come over here and fly directly, maybe even be able to get a lay down seat. You can fly directly here to the United States of America and legally now, because they saying the number of illegal boarding crossings are down, but they flying them right in here. They flying them right in here. And we so dumb. We are idiots. We just be like, cool. Do what you want to do when you want to do it and just let it happen. I'm about to close this in 1 minute. Literally in about 1:30 seconds. Come on over. Fly in. They giving them free flights directly to their location. That way you ain't got to take a bus. You ain't even got to worry about getting captured. You don't even have to worry about coyotes getting you inside the United States of America. I think that this is a crime against the United States. I think it's a crime against the people. No way, no how, impossible that y'all justifying allowing for these people to 100% just fly these people into your backyard, and that's the end of the conversation.
Millions remain waiting for appointments.
This traveler feature is now live on CBP One.
Humanitarian parole programs also allow legal entry for tens of thousands each month from designated crisis countries, unlike regular parole, which is case-specific.
It's like the U.S. government is completing the smuggling process. They're gaming the system and they're skewing the numbers so it looks like immigration's down when it's actually not down at all.
We see what happens in New York. We saw what happened in Springfield, Ohio, Aurora, Colorado. That impact is being felt regardless of what the level of traffic at the border is.
We reached out to the White House about these concerns and are still awaiting a response. Meanwhile, agents also point out the flow of dangerous drugs into the U.S. has not stopped. So far this year, border authorities report seizing at least 10,000 pounds of fentanyl.
They still bring dope through the river. The drug crossings obviously have not slowed down, and we hear it every day, and we see it every day, and the talk about fentanyl, and it's very real.
And they say so is the potential terror threat to the United States, as individuals from more than 160 countries still show up to cross.
You just need one person. Or in the event of 9/11, what was it, 9 people? You don't need many to cause us a lot of problems here in this country.
Problems those on the front lines insist will continue no matter which method migrants choose to get here. In McAllen, Texas, Tara Mergener, CBN News.
Well, coming to a city near you, new housing program, $25,000 per new migrant. First-time buyer in order to create intergenerational wealth, courtesy of Kamala Harris. We also can get you some new housing, some new clothes, some new food. We got the churches participating in a humanitarian program. They can also make sure that they leverage your school system and strain your infrastructure as soon as they get here. And we have all of these liberals still leaning on identity politics in order to justify it.